The Nifty pulls back after hitting 23,000. Midcaps and banks also mildly in the red. Metal stocks are the big gainers today. Realty, FMCG and healthcare lag.
Honasa consumer gains after the company reported strong growth in the fourth quarter, better than industry peers. Underlying volume growth comes in at 27% and profit of 30 crore rupees versus a loss on a year-on-year basis.
BKG Foods gains over 7%, now up 5% on the back of fourth quarter numbers, which were boosted by PLI income of around 93 crore. Even apart from that, the company saw an uptick across all segments.
JK Lakshmi Cement trades well in the green as the margins come in better than expected. Though on the top line, we did see a bit of a degrowth because volumes came in lower on a year-on-year basis. The stock trades at attractive valuations of around $82 per ton.
Vodafone Idea surges as brokerage firm UBS has upgraded the stock to a buy rating, raised the target price to 18 rupees a share. It forecasts a potential upside of 70 to 80%. It's another upgrade coming in from Vodafone for Vodafone in the last couple of months.
Hello and welcome to Chartbusters. I'm Nigel D'Souza. Joining me as always is Mangala Malu. It's a Friday morning. We look forward to the weekend, but for the time being, we need to get through today's trading session. And who's making a comeback today? As you can see at the top of our screen, the midcaps didn't participate that much yesterday. Today, they're doing a relative outperformance, and the dips, the shallow dips you're getting on the Nifty, they're getting bought into, both on the Nifty as well as the Nifty Bank. Mangala, I'm all set for the weekend, but let's get through today's trading session first up.
Absolutely, Nigel. Let's do that. And 23,000 on a Friday morning, not a better sight to watch out for in the market as well. You know, at the start of the week, one would have thought that we'd see this kind of move come by with such succession. So keep an eye out in the markets. Do not worry about these mild dips that there are. The bigger headline is that 23,000 was here this morning itself. But let's talk about individual stocks. Power utility company NHPC reported its fourth quarter earnings falling on almost all fronts, missing street expectations, and that explains why we've seen a bit of a red tinge on the stock in today's trading session so far. RP Goyal, who's the CMD and Director of Finance of the company, joins us to give us a glimpse of what lies ahead for the company. Thanks a lot, Mr. Goyal, for joining in. You know, one of the concerns that the street has is that these delays that you spoke about for your Subhanshree project as well as your Parbati project, if you could give us a sense of the updated timeline, and could that have a bearing on your regulated equity? Could you give us a sense of where that number stands at FY25 and FY26?
Thank you. Actually, these two projects were biggest project as of now, and due to certain reasons, there are delays in commissioning of these projects. But now we are hoping to commission Bharti 2 in December 24, all 4 units at a time, and we will add 800 megawatt in December 24. And so far, Subhanshree is concerned, we will commission 3 units in March 25, and balance 5 units will be commissioned by May 26. So our regulated equity will be to the extent of around 28,000 crore by end of 2028 after commissioning our all ongoing hydro projects and solar projects except Devang. So our regulated equity will be around double by FY28, and our bottom line will be in the range of 7,500 crore.
Okay, all right. Hi, sir. Good morning and good to see you in. And just to clear the air, the current regulated equity is around 13,000 crores, right?
All right. So,
all right.
Commissioning of Bharti 2, there will be additional equity of around 3,000 crore, and on full commissioning of Subhanshree, the regulated equity will add to around 7,000 crore.
Okay, got it. Could you run us through your capex plans for the year? What is it at, and how does it make your balance sheet look?
Our current year's capex plan is around 11,000 crore 500, 11,500 crore on consolidated basis, and our current year's balance sheet revenue and profit will be in the same range, because commissioning of Bharti 2 and other solar projects is happening in the fag end of the financial year. So full year benefits will be available in next year. Similarly, we will commission 3 units of Subhanshree in March, so financial benefit will be available next year.
Has there been any cost overrun because of the delays in the project?
Yes, cost overruns are there. our Subansiri is posting around 21,000 crore plus, and Subansiri is posting around 11,000 crore plus. So, but all the cost overruns are passed through because CRC allows whole of the cost in tariff if it is not delays are not due to the developer.
All right. In terms of generation and PAF, what would your targets for FY25 be? Because FY24 was an El Nino year, there was the Teesta issue, etc. as well. So PAF for FY24 was close to 77.6%, and during the year you generated about 21,773 million units. What's your target for the first quarter and this year for both PAF and the units that you're likely to generate?
Our current year's generation and PF will be in the similar range of last year because Teesta 5 is down and it will be recommissioned in March 2025. But loss of generation in case of Teesta 5 is fully compensated by the our insurer. So generation will be lower in comparison to design energy, but we are fully insured in respect of generation.
All right, so give us some details with regard to the status of the PSPs with various state governments, MP, Odisha, Gujarat. Quite a few announcements have been made. When does implementation start?
We are working on 9 pump storage projects in the state of Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, and Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, and Odisha. And we have submitted PFR of 5 projects already. And we are expecting to start construction of our Indra Sagar Omkareshwar pump storage project in the period of 1.5 years. Because we are in the process of submitting DPR, and on clearance of DPR, we will go for tendering, and we are expecting to start the construction within 1.5 years. And other projects also, we are in the process of preparing DPR. We are entering into joint venture agreement with the state of Andhra Pradesh, where DPR is already in the final stage, and immediately after clearance of DPR, we can start the construction there also.
All right, and finally, just before we let you go, sir, let's revisit all the long-term targets that you had for FY24. Your capacity target was 7,000 megawatts. You are looking to double it by, you were earlier looking to double it by FY27. It seems that it will now double by FY28 because the delays, etc. And FY32, you had given us a capacity target of 22,000 megawatts. You want to revisit that as well?
We are standing for that capacity, and we are working on 9 more hydro projects which are in the pipeline and which are at the different stage of clearances. In addition to 9 hydro projects, we are working on 4 or 5 solar projects also. And as I explained, on 9 pump storage projects also. So our pipeline is very lengthy and our growth plan is very robust.
And solar, how much will that be over the next 5 years as a proportion of your overall capacity?
We are basically a hydro company, but we are doing a little bit in a solar sphere also. And we are keeping our total capex in the ratio of 80-20. 80% we will be incurring in hydro sphere and 15 to 20% in the solar and wind sphere. So we are keeping 80-20 mix.
Well, always a pleasure talking to you, sir. Thanks a lot for stopping by and giving us all those details. We wish you all the best for the coming fiscal year, and we look forward to chat up with you as the year progresses. Well, for the time being, let's shift focus to our special segment. We get you a few ideas of profit from Money Control Pro. Nitin Sharma joins us to tell us about a stock that he's tracking closely. Nitin?
Today's idea for profit is eMudra. We recently reviewed Q4 result, where company reported a good set of numbers, with margin improving by 770 basis points sequentially and 206 basis points YOY. In the Q4, its domestic trust services business delivered a good performance and grew 24% sequentially. Enterprise solution business was subdued in the quarter. However, it grew sharply on FY24 basis and now its revenue share at 55%. eMudra has started bidding only for the software part of the government projects, as the hardware portion is margin dilutive and tend to stretch cash conversion cycle. Company has been expanding in the international market with the strategy of multiple partnership and undercutting competition by offering lower prices. The strategy has paid well, and now international revenue growing rapidly and have a good pipeline from here. Management guided for a 25 to 30% revenue growth in FY25, driven by the international market, along with a 30% EBITDA margin. eMudra has planned to expand organically and may acquire a niche business to support growth. For this purpose, company has around 80 crore in its kitty. Its a 149 crore order book offers a good visibility, as historically the actual sales tend to be around 2x of the order book. At the current market price, the stock trades at FY26 PE of 43 times, which offer a decent upside from the current levels. Therefore, we maintain an overweight rating and recommend investors to buy this.
All right, thank you for joining in and giving us a view on a stock that you think could be an idea for profit. Just keep an eye on the markets once again, though the metal stocks continue to do well, but now it's Tata Motors which is actually spiked. So Tata Motors is now moved into the green and towards the higher end of today's trading range, but the action is in the broader markets and largely in the broader markets itself. Coromandel is one of the stocks which is doing well. Oberoi Realty is the other one which again has rallied from the lows. The real estate space doing well once again, and EB Fashion, that really has been one of the bigger stocks in the last couple of months or so, ever since it's announced its plan to demerge and unlock value. That stock's up around 27% in the year of 2024 so far itself. After having 2 or 3 years of absolute underperformance, that stock continues to do well. Take a short break, come back. We focus on the markets. Also, we get you the management of Infra. Subrakant Panda, who's the managing director, joins in.
Welcome back. Well, as promised, let's get chatting with the management of Infra. Yesterday, they declared their set of numbers, and the street at first look read it as a bit of a negative surprise because the margins appear to have come in at around 15%. However, they've declared their calculated EBITDA margins on the exchanges yesterday, post-market close. And in fact, the numbers look pretty much okay then. Mr. Subrakant Panda, the managing director of Infra, joins us on the show. Hi, sir. Good morning, and thanks a lot for joining in. Well, a little bit of a confusing scenario played out last afternoon because of these numbers. Everyone was wondering, ferrochrome prices are moving up, chrome ore is moving up, but how come the margins were a little bit subdued? So, you came out with your release and post-market hours, and that gives us some clarity. But I wanted you to clarify to us how much of the hit in the past quarter was one-off. It could be some kind of impact with regard to the Utkal coal. It could be a maintenance activity as well. So what could that number be?
Good morning, Nigel. Always a pleasure to be on your show. And, let me first start out by mentioning that actually FY24 was a very, very satisfying year because in terms of operations, we set operational record in every single area, be it ferrochrome production, chrome ore raising or power generation. And in terms of the financial numbers, it was the second best in the company's history. So overall, we're very satisfied. But yes, one of the events which happened during this quarter was certain accounting entries which were required consequent to the compensation order being declared for Utkal Coal, which is the subsidiary, and as you know, the coal block which it held, which was cancelled, and we're entitled to compensation on that front. So on the standalone numbers, the jump that you see from about 700 crores to 930 crores, basically that includes income recognition on a loan which had been extended to Utkal Coal by Infra. And since there was no payments being made, we had not recognized that interest. But now that there is certainty about collection of compensation pertaining to Utkal Coal, so the interest of about 221 crores, which has been recognized in Infra's standalone results. And so the operational turnover, excluding this one-time interest recognition, is about 700 crores. So therefore, the EBITDA margin, which came in at about 135 crores for the quarter, roughly works out to 19.5%, which is in line with what we had mentioned earlier and something that we're quite satisfied about. Similarly, in terms of other income, lot of there were set-offs of impairment of investment, etc. So broadly, the interest recognition and the investment impairment, etc., cancel each other out. So these are all accounting entries. Now, in addition to that, something else that we had indicated, if you look at quarter on quarter, there is a slight decline in the profitability, and that is both on account of ferrochrome prices having cooled off slightly for Q4 of FY24. And we also had certain one-time, one-off major repairs and maintenance for which the furnaces were shut for about, two furnaces were shut for about a week or in fact a little bit more. And we had to recognize certain expenditure incurred in that regard. So taking that out, I would say that we are in a very comfortable zone. We continue to have a strong balance sheet. The net worth of the company has crossed 2,000 crores during the financial year under review. And, I think we are quite well placed to execute on our expansion plans.
Got it. So the past quarter's numbers were hit by a couple of one-offs, which included that compensation for Utkal, as well as some maintenance activities as well. So that's about the past, but the street wants to know the way ahead. So let's focus on that. Ferrochrome prices were a little bit subdued, and as per our calculations, going by the volumes and the sales number, it was approximately 1,02,000 to 1,03,000 for the past quarter. But we are looking at the global trends, and it appears that ferrochrome prices have spiked up. So for the next 2 quarters, that's quarter 1 and quarter 2, what is the average realization? Because some of these contracts will get locked in.
So our contracts, as you know, are in some cases locked in for a quarter. And for the Chinese market, the little tonnage that we sell is priced every month. But broadly, if you look at that for Q4 FY24, our average realization, like you said, was roughly about 1,02,000 or so. Going ahead for the ongoing quarter, we expect prices to be higher by about 3,000 to 4,000 tons, if not 3,000 to 4,000 rupees a ton, if not a little bit more. So broadly, I would say for the first half of the year, and as you know, we don't really go beyond predicting 2 quarters at a time. But for the first half of the year, for each of the quarters, I would comfortably predict an EBITDA higher than 150 crores. And so that will certainly see us improve our performance sequentially. And of course, the big jump will come a year and a half or so from now, when we actually are able to commission our expansion projects.
Right, we take that point. For the next 3 quarters, you would have EBITDA of upwards of 150 crore per quarter. So the remainder of this year, you would have around 450 crores of EBITDA. I just wanted to understand how much of the increase will actually flow through to the EBITDA. What's the kind of EBITDA per ton target that you have for this year?
So look, as you know, the ferrochrome is somewhat cyclical and tends to be volatile. The advantage for us, of course, is that we have captive chrome ore, which means that we are shielded from the most egregious impact of raw material price increases. But that being said, we do the margins are contract or expand basis not just price increases, but where also raw material prices stand. And from that perspective, we are seeing metallurgical coke prices come down a little bit. We would expect EBITDA margins to be around the 20% margin, or a little bit more than that, in fact. And if you look at FY24 for the full financial year, the EBITDA clocked in at about 23%, which is squarely in the middle of our projections.
All right, Mr. Panda, are you being conservative? Because as you said, the margins in the past year were around 23%. Now you're saying 20% plus. And 150 crores, well, you have been doing that as well. So for the year, going by current prices, the way the shortage of chrome ore, I'm looking at a couple of producers globally as well. Some of them are not converting it into ferrochrome. They're selling the ore directly because that's giving you a better margin. The viability is not there. So what kind of a year could we look at in terms of EBITDA? For the past year, you have done close to 600 crores. Now, this year will be better at current prices, at current RM cost as well. So should be working with a number of close to around 650 to 700 crores for the year at least?
So, Nigel, the first point, and absolutely, yes, I strongly believe in being, in under-committing and over-performing rather than the other way around. And keep in mind that, this is our best case forecast at the moment. And of course, this is not a forward guidance in the true sense, because you don't know how things can pan out. But that is why we end up quoting a number which we are, very, very confident about achieving, barring extremely unforeseen circumstances, which I don't think are on the anvil. So that being said, the EBITDA for the full year FY24 was 650. And in the first half of the ongoing fiscal, we expect to cross 300 for sure. And and let's see where that takes us. But you're absolutely right that the fundamentals of the ferrochrome industry are such that more and more ferrochrome production is taking place in China, which is a relatively high-cost producer, and that acts as a ceiling, as a floor on prices, and a floor at a level which gives us a fairly healthy EBITDA margin. So yes, I am quite sanguine about the year ahead. But I think it is prudent for us to look at the first half of the year, give a number which we are very confident of achieving, and see how much better that we can do beyond that.
Under promise and over deliver. We take that point, Mr. Panda. This is something that we keep asking you every quarter, and that's about Utkalsi. And the smile on your face says that you've anticipated this question this time around. So let's twist that. How much the money is pending? Is there risk to that? Because I presume there's some 220 crore which is remaining. When do you get that? And yeah, go ahead.
So what we have received at the moment is 131 crores, and in fact out of that we have paid out some special dividend as well to reward shareholders. What is pending on account of land is 221 odd crores to be precise, and of course there is a valuation of mines infrastructure which is yet to be done. That we expect to be in the 18 to 20 crore range. Now, we are certainly expecting this money to be released sooner rather than later, because in as much as the new LOT is concerned, they had sought a stay in the tribunal which has not been granted, and they have thereafter deposited the money with the nominated authority. So we do expect it to come, in as much as whether there is any risk to that number is concerned. Look, I mean, the new LOT has raised certain questions as to the valuation number. We are very confident about it, and in fact, in our counterclaim, the difference between
Mr. Panda, short point seems like there's a bit of a tug of war. When you say sooner rather than later, the question is when. Is it this year? Is it in the next couple of quarters, or is that an FY25 story? Because as precedent has it, you give out all of this money to all the shareholders as dividends. So whenever that money comes, everyone will be keeping an eye out on it. When?
So look, I don't want to jinx it by giving a specific deadline, but certainly sooner rather than later, because the money has been deposited with the nominated authority, and there is no legal stay or there is no stay given by any court on that being paid out. So we certainly expect it to come soon. Now, in as much as payout is concerned, we clearly look at rewarding our shareholders through a combination of dividend, which is from income out of operations, and the special dividend was on account of this long pending compensation which came our way. So from 130 odd crores which came in the first lot, we declared 150% special dividend, which works out to about 80 crores cumulatively. And let the balance money come in, and of course I would not the one thing I can commit is that we will reward shareholders, but the extent is the prerogative of the board, and it would not be appropriate for me to quote a number.
Very quickly, Mr. Panda, by FY26 your capacity expansion will come on stream, some part of FY26. So for FY27 at current reckoning plus your ethanol profitability, should IMFA look like an EBITDA of around 950 crores at current reckoning? Keeping in mind ethanol, there will be some profitability that will come in 30, 40 crores on, as well as the increased capacity. FY27 looks like around 950 crores?
Look, FY27 is something that is very far away so it's not, I would find it a little difficult to give numbers at this point in time. In as much as the expansion is concerned, we are expecting to have the entire capacity online by middle of 2026. So we will have the entire capacity available for most of FY27. A quick update on the project: we have received environmental clearance. It has been recommended, so we should be getting it any day now. And clearly we have slipped a little bit in our timelines, which is something that I had indicated earlier. And now with monsoon setting in, what we would look to do is to start construction, by about September, October, and that's when we look to commission between April to June 2026. By then, the ethanol project should also come up, and as I've always mentioned, That is a small sort of a digression, if I can put it that way, which
Yes.
utilizes a surplus land and capacity.
Yes.
It is value accretive, but not something
Yes.
which takes up a lot of management time or equity investment. So yes, I mean, I think we will we will climb to new peaks by the time FY27 comes around. All else, holding the same.
All right, Mr. Panda, thanks a lot for joining and clarifying on all those points. We wish you well. Look forward to having a chat with you during the course of the year. For the time being, though, we'll, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll just do a quick check on the markets. Well, we are holding in the green. I mean, Mangalam, as we had that chat, the markets have moved into the green. The mid-cap index as well is trading with a gain of around 200 points. And HAL is a stock that's flying away. That's up 5%, while you have Vodafone Idea as well. That's up close to 10%.
The day of the mid-caps and day of shallow dips. That's how it seems, because when we started, it was mildly in the red, and now it's in the green. With that, we'll wrap up on this edition of Chartbusters. On the other side, you'll have the team of Trading Hour coming up.